Hey y'all, welcome back to the garden. We are actually in the greenhouse, but can you believe that it is already the middle of July? Like, that is insane. That is so crazy. I am going to be showing you in this video what I am planting for the rest of the summer. We have 110 days left in our season until our first frost. I'm in South Carolina in zone 8B, and there is so much more time to plant. I'm going to tell you what I'm planting, why I'm planting it, and what my plans are for the rest of the summer. Because like I said, we still have summer gardening to do. It's not over yet, y'all. It's not over yet. My name is Quisha. This is our freedom song, and I am so happy that you're here. Squash. This is what I want to talk about first. So these squash seeds actually just came out of a red curry squash that I opened up. And I decided that I was going to plant fresh seeds, give myself a second chance, because what I did last time is I took the seeds out and I put it outside to dry it, and it pretty much baked it outside. Crunchy baked. I'm talking about like baked, you know how you roast sunflower seeds to like have a nice treat? It was like that, so crunchy like a chip. And so this time I'm actually going to plant them because I need to plant them now. I just took these out of a small squash. I'm gonna plant these and then I'm going to dry the rest of them in the house. But what I did with my squash, just as a side note, is I put it in my cute little, it's just the littlest little pot. And I just put some coconut oil, salt, nutmeg in there, and what else? Coconut oil, salt, nutmeg. Anyway, so I put the lid on and I'm going to roast that. I'm roasting it on 400, and I'm probably gonna do that for about 30 minutes. It's just a small one. And I'm actually going to blend that up to make a really, really delicious soup that's going to remind me of like pumpkin. I might add some stevia in there because I'm wanting like a really sweet treat. Speaking of a sweet treat, I mentioned last time that I am eating seasonally for 30 days, y'all. It is day 4. Your girl is hanging in there. Like, I'm hanging in there, y'all. It is very different. And my body feels really, really good. I think after I get through 7 days, I'm just going to feel a burst of energy. When it's the morning time, I'm feeling a little bit sleepy because I'm actually not drinking coffee right now either. So I'm feeling a little sleepy. And at night, I'm ready to go to bed, and which is a great thing, the nighttime thing. And instead of coffee, I am drinking herbs, some herbal tea. So I have green tea. This morning I had green tea mixed with mint and lemon balm, and it was incredible. So good. Lots of antioxidants. And then I've also been drinking green matcha. I started that before this whole thing. And so that is really, really great as well. So those are like the things that aren't necessarily, I'm not growing in the garden, but are still really good for me. We're going to see what it do, but let's get back to the subject. So back to squash. I actually had to pull down all of my old squash vines, and it was definitely bittersweet, y'all. Like, definitely bittersweet because they're so beautiful. So it was a little bit sad, but I really felt like it was just so important for keeping the pest pressure down while these things are germinating. And then when I go to plant these, I'm hoping that, like I said, the pest pressure is just down. The 2 biggest ones is the pickle worms. Oh my goodness, those pickle worms, and the squash vine borer. So I'm really hoping that this process is going to help eliminate them, really. If the vines are just dying back, you know, they were still boring their way into the dying vines. And so this way, I'm hoping that I can not give them a place to hide, not give them a place to lay eggs and multiply, but by pulling them now, it will help really interrupt that cycle, you know, if that makes sense. Squash vine borers in particular can be like a major problem in southern gardens. I don't know if people all over deal with this, but the adult is a day flying moth that looks a lot like a wasp. And then she comes around and she lays all her little eggs on the stem of the squash. And at first I thought coming into the season that it was just going to be on the base of the squash, but no. That's not true. That's not what happened. I had some squash vine borer damage up to 2 feet up that vine. And so it's not just the bottom that we have to worry about, but it's the whole entire vine. Like, they were vicious with it. And squash vine borers are not something that I typically deal with in the garden because I have really refused to put any effort into growing squash for that very reason. I'm like, no, thank you. I just did not want to deal with the borer. I just really didn't. And they showed up and showed out, y'all, this year. They lay their eggs at the base of the squash or anywhere really on that squash stem. And then once the larvae hatch, they burrow inside of the vine and then they start eating it from the inside out. And sometimes before you even notice the damage, it's often too late. I mean, you can like cut it and split it open, take out that little maggot, and then you can actually bind it up. But that doesn't prevent another moth from coming and laying on a different spot on the vine. So here we normally deal with 2 generations per season. Like the first flight normally starts like late spring around May or June. And then the second generation often appears like late July or August. So planting later in the summer, I'm like now, because I'm starting my seeds indoors in the greenhouse and putting them out like August will really help dodge some of the worst of that second wave because they're on their way out really. On a positive side of planting later in the summer, is I hear that the squash just matures like really quickly, like much more quickly because, you know, it's just hot. A lot of these varieties can be ready in as few as 60 days, but they can take as much as 100 days. So it just really depends on the variety that you are planting. I am definitely trying to start fresh, cleaning up the beds, hopefully giving us a clean slate and hopefully fewer pests. The only vine that I did not pull down is my cuckoozy vine, because if you saw the last video, you saw those 2 beautiful cuckoosies that we harvested, and that vine is just now started to take off. And so I am going to let that be. And then hopefully we could get more squash off of that. That would be incredible. But if not, I just don't feel comfortable pulling that down because it has 0 damage at the moment. But we'll see, since I pulled out all the other squash, where these pickle worms and things try to go next. But I'm going to let that be and see what happens. This one's strong. Good. This would probably be all I can do, and that's okay. What? I did not even know there was a squash back here growing. It's huge. With frass. It feels good, actually. So you guys know that I absolutely love mixing beauty into the garden. It's like my favorite. So I'm also going to be planting sunflowers and more zinnias. Now I already started some sunflowers a few days ago. Like so many different varieties, and I'm so excited about that. And I actually did find another variety, and this is called the vanilla ice. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to plant this too. So I'm going to start these today. And then these are the zinnias that I have, and I've never planted this variety. I'm excited about it. I think that because zinnias are just so, they're long lasting. And so I'm excited to see a new variety growing in the garden. These take about, I think zinnias take about 60 days. And so we have plenty of time for these to go from seed to flower. And that's just exciting to think about. Another thing about the sunflowers is that my thought is that all these beautiful sunflowers are just going to welcome us into the wonderful fall that we'll all be begging for by the time we are done with summer, honestly. I'm using this garden marker right here that actually a few of you guys told me about, and you guys have just been saying so many good things about it. I'm excited. I'm going to be using this for all of my tags. And then on another note, I just want you to know that if you ever are trying to get botanical interest seeds, there's always a discount code down below for you to use to get, I think, like 5% or something off your seeds. Now I know this is a lot of this is a lot of squash seeds, because how many is in this tray? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 12. So I just planted 24, and a few of them have 2 in it just because I didn't want to do a brand new tray. So I just doubled up on a couple, and I'll pinch that back to the strongest plant, but I won't plant 24 of these. I'll give them away to whoever wants them. But yeah, I just want to see them grow. I mean, I can plant a good bit of these, and right now this is my favorite squash, but I still have others to try. Like we haven't tried the koozie yet. I would love to know what you do with your koozie squash. I did try, oh my goodness, y'all, I tried the eggplant for the first time, the Casper, and somebody told me that it was like a really creamy eggplant. Is so true. It's so true. And so I love it. So like I was telling you guys, this is day number 4 on my eating seasonally. And what I did was I had the most delicious stir fry. I just sauteed up some of those delicious peppers from the garden. I did peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, onions grown from the garden. I was so excited about using the onions and basil. Basil also from the garden, y'all. And it was so delicious. I actually really love healthy food, so that's never been my problem. It's not that at all. These seeds are sunflower seeds and they are tiny. But these are supposed to bloom to 5 feet tall. Like that is what, look how teeny tiny these sunflower seeds are. Those are so small. I'm so shocked. They're like little baby sunflower seeds. At the end of this garden season, I want this to be a sunflower, like a sunflower haven. It's going to be such a beautiful exit to the summer garden. Like it truly is. So these are the sunflowers that I planted the other day. And I think that this is the autumn beauty, like, because in the other container, you can see some of the autumn beauties have popped up like already. Look at that. So exciting. Yay. That's so exciting. And actually these earth walkers are popping up as well. I love this. Yeah, they are. So they're going to be ready before you know it, especially in these. Like I told you, I don't want to leave anything in these too long. I've made a grave mistake leaving them in these trays, plug trays too long. And I don't want to do that again. Y'all, I just love this view. When I'm just here planting seeds and I take a look out, this is where the sun sets. On the west side, and it's just right over our orchard, and it's just so beautiful. It's just, I can't explain it. I'm excited because mosquitoes are not in the greenhouse tonight, thankfully. Okay, so next up, I am planting beets. So I recently heard that they don't mind a little heat. I'm like, okay. I mean, they're hard for me to grow in the fall, but let's give it a try because what do I have to lose? And so I'm going to try to grow these and stagger them between like taller plants so they aren't in direct heat. But I mean, it can't hurt to try. So this is actually another squash variety I'm going to be trying that I did not grow. And I actually love spaghetti squash. Like it's such a cool veggie / botanical fruit. And so I'm going to try this. This actually takes 90 to 100 days. So it is really cutting it close with this one. And of course, pole beans, y'all. They're one of my favorite crops to plant any time of the season, especially the second half, because they are the gift that just keeps on giving. They don't mind the heat. They're quick to produce. And then if you have vertical space, even like a fence, I love growing these on a fence. I love growing them along our fence line. They're absolutely beautiful. And there's just something about walking outside late summer and seeing vines full of beans. Oh my goodness, it's one of those late season garden joys. So if you are wondering how much more time you have to grow, that is a very reasonable question. The reason why I know, if you are a new beginner, if you are a beginner gardener, I know that it is so much information out here to just try to figure out. But you want to figure out when your last, don't put the beets in the zinnias. You want to figure out you can just Google it. Or I really love the Old Farmer Almanac. That has been so great, such a great resource over the last several years for me. I would say my number one resource for knowing just when to plant before I could really get my head wrapped around it. But even now, like it's so useful. And so I highly recommend that. Anyway, so if you are just trying to figure out how many days you have left to plant, all you have to do is figure out by looking it up when your first frost date is. When you find that out, you just count backwards. Or you could simply say to Google, how many days do I have left until my first frost? And put in your zip code, but Google probably already knows you, girl. Put your zip code in there, and then it will actually just give you the number of the days. So, I mean, it's as easy as a prompt in Google that will help you. So that is how you find out how many days you have left. And then if you have seed packets, you can simply look on your seed packet, and most seed packets, some do not though, but most tell you how many days it takes to like grow something. For like this, for example, it takes 50 to 60 days for this to grow. And I have plenty of seeds. So if my summer doesn't work out for my beets, then I'm just going to plant them again in the fall, since I have plenty of those to plant. Right now, because I have 110 days left until our very first frost, I am looking for things that I can plant that takes 100 days or less. I wouldn't have to worry about that actually with the beets though, because they are frost tolerant, meaning they can they grow in cool weather. So I wouldn't have to worry about it with that. But for everything else that I'm trying to grow in the summer, specifically for summer, that is something that I would have to worry about. So like I said, that spaghetti squash is going to be cutting it a little bit close, but we're going to do it anyway. So I just hope this can be an encouragement for you. If your garden is looking tired or overgrown, you are not behind. Just say this is your reset. Even just planting one tray of something or a roll of something can just make the garden just feel so new, and it can make you change, and it can totally change how you're feeling about the garden. Like, it will give you new life, and I'm excited about that. Like I said, it was so sad to have those vines being pulled down, because I feel like it's given me such a magical feel in the garden, but I still do want to produce food. And so it's time to reset and just readjust and keep planting. So I would say that it would be such a great idea to see how many days you have left until your very first frost, and then plant something that you can plant that will produce food or flower before your frost comes. It just gives you so much joy. It'll bring you so much joy. Trust me, it will. So I would love to know, what are you planting mid-July? Please leave it down below. How are you growing, y'all? Thank you for joining me. Until next time, friends.